Back here on the PAC Sports Network for our halftime show as we're at the break between Waynesburg and Chatham. And we're now joined by the head coach of Waynesburg men's basketball, Coach Tim Fusina. And Coach, thanks so much for joining us today. I know that PAC basketball is officially here. Non-conference has been wrapped up for the most part. What were some of your takeaways that you had through the first couple games in the non-conference slate of schedule?
Well, first, thanks for having me, Jack. I really appreciate the work you guys do with the PAC network. First couple non-conference games we've had trouble closing out some games. We've had some dry spells that have cost us a couple, especially our home game against Oberlin. When we guard, I think we can be pretty good. And there are times that, quite frankly, we haven't guarded and we haven't rebounded. And those are the things we have to do to be successful. And when we do that, I think we can be successful. When we don't do those things, we're not going to be. So we walk a fine line right now.
Well, your team's coming off an incredible season. I mean, the most wins that you've had since the 14-15 year. You hosted a PAC tournament game, so a ton to be proud of. How did you see that strong season, maybe motivate this group a little bit more during the offseason and during the preseason heading into the year?
I think that the guys that came back from last year's team, I think they left a little bit on the table. In losing in the first round, I think is never a good thing. Never something you look back and think that was very positive, especially when you host a game and lose it on your own floor. I think that's motivated some of our returners to hopefully get back to that. We have a long way to go, and I think our record shows that we have a long way to go to get back to something like that. But time will tell. But I think we have a group that's motivated to be successful.
And you returned a really strong cast of players, in particular, Anton Baker, the reigning defensive player of the year in the conference. How much confidence do his teammates have knowing that he's out there on the floor, kind of patrolling the paint a little bit? And if something breaks down defensively, he's there to clean things up.
He provides a lot of stability for our team on the defensive end. He is able to pretty much guard anybody on the floor at any time. Allows us to be a little more creative in what we're doing defensively if we choose to be. He provides I think he provides a lot of confidence to his teammates when he steps on the floor.
You bring back also a key reserve from last year in Corey Mitchum. He had a very, very strong role off the bench. Where have you seen his game grow the most from last season to this season?
Corey's been more mature. I think Corey's been a better leader early on in the season. I think he has been able to get guys to follow him. He's vocal. I think where Anton is more of a leader by example type, I think Corey is more of a vocal type of leader. And I think guys have followed him both on and off the floor so far.
And another guy down low that kind of complemented Anton very well was Jalen Davis, a fantastic rebounder for you guys, high percentage shooter on the floor as well. How have you noticed Jalen and Anton kind of playing off of one another? And, what can the defense be with both of those playing at an extremely high level?
If those two are playing at a high level consistently, we have the chance to be very good. And that's both offensively and defensively. If they're inconsistent or if one is inconsistent, I don't know where we fall. They both play off of one another well because they understand each other's strengths. They are able to get each other open. They are able to get the ball to the other where they are best effective. So when they're playing at their best, we're playing at our best.
And just perusing through your roster, I saw that you brought in some more players from the portal, but one player that stuck out was Rayshad Hooper, player coming over from Teal, so very familiar with the PAC. How has it been adding him into the fold, especially with how much experience he brings and how much of talent he brings to the table as well?
He rebounds. I mean, that's the thing he does. I mean, he goes to the glass and he has a very good mid-range game. He's also a great person. And speaking with Coach Loomis up at Teal, who I've known pretty much my entire life, probably since I was 2 or 3 years old, asked about Rayshad when Rayshad applied to our athletic training graduate program, and Coach Loomis said he was a great kid, and he is. He's a great person who cares, very thoughtful, and again on the floor plays extremely hard. So he's been a welcome addition to our program.
I know that you've been using the transfer portal a good bit the last 2 years, but now you bring in somebody like Rashad who's familiar with the PAC. How does having a transfer like that that's familiar with Bethany, familiar with Grove City, kind of maybe help out some younger players that might not know what's at stake in the PAC and the depth that there is in the PAC for basketball?
I think he does provide that experience and does provide that knowledge of what other teams are trying to do and what other players are like. So he can also speak to some of our newer guys on the bench during timeouts, during the game, and give them some tips on how to handle what a team might be doing or what a player might do.
Well, Coach, definitely an exciting season ahead for you and the Yellow Jackets. But before we get you out of here, I want to hear from you what you think it'll be that gets your team back to that point of the PAC tournament and get them even further in the tournament and to a PAC title game.
I think we have to be the more physical team every night. I think we have to be the best rebounding team in the conference. And I think we need to be able to get the shots that we want to get. And that means that we're playing from the inside out. That means we're getting to the free throw line. That means we have value for the ball, value for the possession. And that we can put a consistent 40 minutes together. If we can put a consistent 40 minutes together and do the things I just mentioned, like I said, we could be pretty good. So hopefully we can do that as we move forward.
Definitely looking forward to the rest of the season for you and the Waynesburg Yellow Jackets. Again, Coach, thanks so much for stopping by and good luck the rest of the season.
Thanks, Jack. I appreciate it.
That's the head men's basketball coach from Waynesburg, Tim Fusina. Don't move a muscle. We'll have more PAC hoops coming up next right here on the PAC Sports Network.